Less than 3 hours, this is the final countdown to the launch of Aditya-l1 on board a PSLV rocket. India is set to join, as Sneha just told you, a very, very small club of countries that have probes that are studying the star at the center of our solar system. The Aditya-l1 makes a significant milestone in the country's space exploration journey. 11:50 a.m., Sneha, is when takeoff is scheduled.
That's right, and the Isro has said that preparations are on. In fact, the launch has been completed and the spacecraft is ready for liftoff from the Sriharikota spaceport at 11:50 a.m. Aditya-l1 is a pioneering mission dedicated to studying the sun. The spacecraft will be placed in a halo orbit around the Lagrangian point 1, which is the L1 point of the Sun-Earth system, approximately 1.5 million kilometers from the Earth.
Well, this strategic positioning will allow the Aditya spacecraft to continuously observe the sun without any occultation or any obstruction or eclipses, providing an unprecedented round-the-clock opportunity to monitor solar activities in real time and beam that data straight back to Isro. The spacecraft is equipped with 7 scientific payloads designed to observe various layers of the sun, including the corona, the photosphere, the chromosphere, and the outermost part, which is the most visible.
Next launch is this one, Aditya-l1. What is next launch? Another one. After that launch is Gaganyaan launch. Gaganyaan launch will be a test vehicle launch, so it is getting ready. So that will happen mostly by October, first or second week.
Another one, sir.
After that, we will have launch of GSLV Mark II GSLV launch for INSAT 3DS. Then we will have launch of SSLV D3. Okay. Then again we will have launch of PSLV. Then we will have launch of GSLV Mark III. Like that it will continue. Huh?
We are ready, as you have been hearing or reading in the newspapers and elsewhere, that ISRO has announced 3 days back that we will be launching Aditya-l1 mission on 2nd September. Morning 11:50 hours. So we are sticking to that plan, and last couple of days we had detailed reviews of various systems, launch vehicle, satellite, and other associated ground support system. Everything is fine, on track, and considering the overall status, we don't see any problem in going ahead with the launch on 2nd September.
After the success of Chandrayaan, I think that's been reconfigured as an Aditya-l1. That means original objective remains same. An added objective of looking at the space weather and trying to forward our operational satellites point of view. I think this mission was repositioned for the L1. And it's really technically, it's a very, very challenging to acquire the L1 point and have an orbit around that. And over and above that, able to survive for the 5 years with a very, very accurate pointing requirements, this mission is concerned. And that way, I think today we have nearly 7 science instruments. With that, these will having one is technically very, very challenging to acquire the orbit, and scientifically going to be rewarding.
ये बहुत ही बड़ा अभियान है इसरो के लिए और सारे दुनिया के तमाम साइंटिस्ट लोगों के लिए। इसमें 7 साइंस पेलोड लगा हुआ है। ये जो लॉन्च होगा PSLV रॉकेट से लॉन्च किया जाएगा, और ये जो ऑर्बिट है इसको पहले लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट में रखा जाएगा, उसके बाद ये रोटेट करेगा अर्थ के चारों ओर, और थर्स दे के थोड़ा थोड़ा करके इसका एलिप्टिकल ऑर्बिट का रेडियस बढ़ा के फिर फाइनली इसको प्लेस किया जाएगा L1 पॉइंट में। इसलिए Aditya-l1 नाम है इसका। ये ग्रेविटेशन न्यूट्रल पॉइंट है। इसको आप पूरा 24 घंटे सन की तरफ रहेगा ये L1 के अराउंड एक हेलो ऑर्बिट में।
This is the first time we are building a space-based observatory in the whole, right from full concept all the way up to putting it in space and producing the data and actually producing science results. So it's an end-to-end effort spanning probably 2 decades. So it has been exciting, and we are at the midway of that, and we are really excited.
It's very good feeling, and we are excited that payload built here will be in space starting from tomorrow, and hopefully it will reach the correct place at with the most efficient fuel, so that we can do science observations for more than 5 years. I think IUCA contributed to design and building up of a UV telescope, which will be important instrument probing a particular energy and particular layers of sun.
Indeed, yeah, it was conceived here. The first designs were done here. The engineering models were developed here. And once you demonstrated the engineering model, then you go further and develop qualification and spaceflight model. So that all happened in Bangalore. But the initiation of the first phase happened from here. It's going to look at the sun in ultraviolet radiation, and it is going to measure different heights in the solar atmosphere, trying to understand how sun works essentially and how does it manage to produce ultraviolet radiation. Because ultraviolet radiation has many impacts on sun climate relationship and how the ozone layer, you must have heard how ozone layer forms, how it destructs and so on. So we'll try to put some tight constraint from solar side that what role does the sun play in ozone layers.
Aditya-l1 takes this to the next higher level by saying, hey, look, you can do all this with the sun. Now we're going to give you data from the sun, from our own spacecraft, which in a form which you might be able to see and not just enjoy, but also understand. Right? We already have data coming from Kodaikanal Solar Observatory every day, but Aditya data is going to be unique, right? As you heard, it's going to image the corona in white light or continuum as well as in spectral lines, and the fact that we can use data from our own spacecrafts.
Aditya-1 is a satellite which is well poised. It is be positioned between sun and Earth. It is called Lagrangian point, where the attraction forces of sun and the Earth are equal and opposite. So it will need a minimum fuel for a very long life. And what it will do, it is almost a 1.5 kilometer distance from Earth. So if any solar wind comes towards Earth, because then only it is danger. If it goes to some other direction and a 3D, then it is not a problem. If it comes towards Earth, we'll get a warning much beforehand.
There's a terrific example in history. When we put something like Aditya up there, in between us and the sun, to sense those things, to better understand how the sun works and the threats that it has to the Earth, it's good for everybody, for protecting us as people, but also, of course, our electrical grid, our internet grid, and all of the thousands of satellites that we count on that are up in orbit. So it's a really good new scientific probe to have out there teaching us about the sun.
India's #1 political reporter
defines what seems to be happening, vendetta politics. कोई दूध के से धुला हुआ नहीं है.
Unmatched eye, unmatched experience.
The world has changed. My black hair has become grey as well.
And with unmatched passion for the story.
Do not monopolize the conversation.
When it's 100% news that matters. It's News Today with Rajdeep Sardesai. Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. Only on India Today TV.